Whenever I see a list from a horror fan that includes Asian horror movies, it's always the same safe, popular, well-known titles. The Ring, Noroi, Shutter, The Eye, Pulse, Train to Busan, The Wailing. It's all a bit boring. Now, I'm not saying these movies aren't good. They are. Except for Pulse, let's be honest, it's a little bit boring. But there's so much more to Asian horror cinema that you should watch. Let's check out 6 titles that you've never seen, let alone heard of. Find, Japan. The Japanese direct-to-video horror market is absolutely massive. So many titles you've never heard of and never will unless a fan sub of the movie mysteriously appears online, which is exactly how I found this one. When most people think of Japanese horror, they don't instantly associate it with slashers, but they exist and this movie is proof. In fact, there's a lot more Japanese slasher movies than you think. It's just that they're usually these low-budget, direct-to-video movies starring idols and pop stars. This movie is about 8 girls who awake in a church where a strange, masked figure is hunting them down and brutally killing them. Well, about as brutal as a low-budget film could possibly get. The girls are all strangers, and none of them can remember how they got there. From there on, the killings begin as they try to both defend themselves and figure out how to get out of the church. As a slasher film, it's entertaining enough. The killer's mask is just a potato sack, but it still looks cool. The girls are a mixture of smart to annoying, with all of them being attractive and none of them being nude, so it's not that kind of slasher film. The plot of the movie actually revolves around a mysterious website called Find, hence the title of the film, where people can pay to have someone captured so they can kill them, with the hunt recorded as a keepsake. It's not exactly original. You're probably thinking this sounds a lot like Hostel, but the fun setting of 8 girls in a church with a mysterious killer wearing a mask similar to Sam in the 2007 film Trick or Treat, along with an unexpected twist at the end, makes this one an interesting flick to watch. The Sisters, Vietnam. Now, I'm pretty sure you've definitely heard of this one. I did a review of it previously, but the reason no one has seen it is because the English subtitled version, which is what I saw in the cinema, has mysteriously disappeared and hasn't been digitally released yet. Which is a shame, because this probably is the best horror film to ever come from Vietnam. Even better than the original Kumanthong from 2019. And the reason I mention that is because the lead character of this film also starred in that. Lam Thanh Moi, who is a bit of a modern day Vietnamese horror queen, also starring in The Ancestral and Bride of the Covenant. The Sisters is based on a famous Vietnamese folktale mixed in with the famous fairy tale of Cinderella. 2 step-sisters, the stunningly beautiful Thum and mysteriously disfigured Gum, the lead character of the film, vie for the attention of the crown prince, who's found a slipper belonging to one of the girls. So where does the horror come in? Well, you see, the family of the girls have a multi-generational curse applied to them in order to stay wealthy. The curse requires the sacrifice of a male heir, but as the family has no boys, they decide to offer up Gum, the disfigured girl, to the spirit. The spirit takes pity on Gum due to how her family treats her and helps her to get her revenge on those who've wronged her. Visually, the movie is stunning. It's fully immersive in the atmosphere it's created, the acting is spot on, and the horror is suitably creepy and fantastic. This is a must watch and could be the best movie I'll recommend on this list of titles. Girls, Gangsters and Zombies, Japan. Okay, I'll admit, I really wanted to talk about this film, but it's because of just how sleazy, trashy, yet downright entertaining it is. This is yet another direct-to-video Japanese horror film, but unlike Find, This movie features something that all perverts will appreciate: boobs. Starring Japanese adult video actress Laura or Roller Aoyama in the lead role of Maki, the girlfriend of a trio of thieves who steal a suitcase full of money from the Yakuza in a violent robbery that results in the death of one of the gangsters. They bury the money in the woods, but accidentally release a toxic chemical developed by Unit 731 during World War II. This chemical has the ability to bring the dead back to life, so zombies, but kind of cooler as they can still talk and move around more actively. The gangsters work out who stole the cash from them and force Maki to dig it up, but the undead start to attack them, forcing them to retreat to an abandoned laboratory. Maki and one of the gangsters survive the night, but he eventually gets killed. She gets all the money, and the movie ends with her masturbating in a car while the zombies peer at her through the windows. Part of the fun of this title is the extremely low-budget style of filmmaking, including the guerrilla-style outdoor scenes that are definitely filmed without permits and during a time of day when no one would be around. Very clever. There is gore for the bloodhounds and enough steamy sexual scenes to satisfy the perverted. Just don't try to make any logic out of the film. This is a world where guns shoot more bullets than they hold, girls are instantly ready for sex, and the zombies are polite in only a way the Japanese could pull off. Live TV, Korea. Continuing on the sleazy theme is this virtually unknown Korean POV found footage style film. Yeah, it's one of those annoying films that takes place from the point of view of one of the characters, who is live streaming to a rabid yet unseen audience of viewers who are craving extreme content. And what is the content they're going to broadcast? It's going to be a rather violent threesome where they plan to pick up a street worker and brutalize her live on stream. But things instantly start going wrong for the streamers. Firstly, the original girl bails out at the last minute, requiring them to find a substitute. Then, the hotel they plan to shoot it in is all booked out, forcing them to find another location. And that's when everything really turns to shit. After the broadcast ends, it's revealed that the girl was in on the plan. Her brutalization on film was all staged, but what happens next isn't. There's blood all over the floors, and the other guests in the hotel have disappeared. As the trio continue to explore the hotel, with their live stream still running in the background, they uncover rooms full of dead bodies and someone or something is hunting them down. This movie really plays up on the fears and dangers of unmoderated live streaming content, where creators broadcast more and more extreme scenarios for the sake of a few likes and donations from strangers online. At times, this movie doesn't hold back with the rather graphic threesome scene, as well as buckets of blood and gore, so this one definitely isn't for the squeamish. What's more interesting is this film was released in 2014, at a time when Korea was seeing a rise in broadcasting jockeys, known under the affectionate acronym of BJs, where unregulated content, including extreme mukbangs, aggressive behaviours against private citizens designed to provoke reactions, or pranks as we would call them, and concerns about stage content designed to cause controversy. This film certainly explored some of those themes. Karma, Thailand. You may have heard of this one if you're knowledgeable about horror films that have been banned or heavily censored. If not, you're probably thinking, how is a movie about a monk considered controversial enough to be banned in Thailand? Well, to know why, we have to explore what this film is really about. This movie is about Sun, a 19-year-old boy who's fallen in with the wrong crowd, resulting in his rather reckless behaviour. His father, fearing for his son's future, forces him to get ordained. Hopefully, living as a monk will put his life back on the right path. But Sun has different ideas. He continues smoking, drinking, fighting and chasing girls. One of those girls is 14-year-old Phi from a nearby village who provide the monks with tithings and food. Phi craves love, and Sun is more than happy to oblige. And it's these themes, not the horror elements, that resulted in the film being banned until it was edited, both physically and optically, to tone down or completely remove the monks' reckless actions. Because in Thailand, monks are virtually untouchable and treated with the utmost respect, which critics felt this movie was going against. As the movie continues, the audience can see that it's not just Sun who's a troubled monk, but it's almost all of them. There are deep and hidden secrets revolving around forbidden relationships and bastard children, forcing Sun to question where the real evil is, his original life or the life of a monk. If you've only ever watched popular Thai films like Shudder, Death Whisperer, Coming Soon or 13 Beloved, then this movie will come as a bit of a shock due to the themes explored and the way that the monks are portrayed on screen. It's not a tough or a hard movie to watch, it's just something that's completely different. Hysteria, Malaysia. A traditional horror film or a monster film? I'll let you decide about that, while I'll tell you a bit more about this 2008 Malaysian film that I'm quietly confident you've never heard of, let alone seen. But hopefully after I tell you what it's about, you'll want to watch it. When it comes to teen horror films, especially movies that feature teenaged girls, your mind probably goes straight to movies like The Craft from America or the Whispering Corridor series from Korea. Well, now you might want to add this one to your list. Set in an all-girls boarding school, we follow a group of friends who decide to play a prank on their school by acting as though they've been possessed by an evil spirit. The school calls in a shaman to try and exorcise the spirit from the girls, who end up erupting in laughter over their prank. As a punishment, the girls are not allowed to return home for a holiday event. Forced to stay on campus, they're given chores to complete. Watching over them is a new student who the girls are apprehensive about at first. But these girls are rebellious. Some have boyfriends, others are experimenting with their sexuality. This is clearly a movie that is exploring the coming of age and the mysteries and horror surrounding female puberty in a Muslim country. As the movie continues, some of the girls end up dead, and one of them genuinely appears to be possessed by a mysterious monster. How will the girls survive this scenario? Or is this just another one of their pranks? That's something that you'll need to find out for yourself if you can find the film. The themes on display here are well done and delicately considered, balancing the line between exploring sexuality and respecting religion. This movie isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but if you're willing to give it a chance, you will be rewarded with a very interesting film. Hey everyone, Nutty Dance here. I hope you enjoyed this video, an interesting look at 6 Asian horror movies that perhaps you haven't heard of or haven't even seen. Now, I'm pretty sure that you would have heard of The Sister since I bang on a lot about it on this channel, and hopefully you'll get a chance to see that with English subtitles very soon. Now, I've been trying something a bit new with this one. As you can see, I'm not appearing until right at the end of this video, trying a new voice. I've been watching a lot of spooktubers and loving the way that they are doing their presentations. So not that I can copy it exactly, but put some new graphics in. So hopefully a little bit more engaging, a little bit more exciting, and we can come up with some more topics. So maybe you can drop a topic below in the comments section, or you can just drop a comment just to say, hey, how are you, Dan? How's it been? I've seen this movie and I want to talk to you about it, which is all very cool if you want to. Anyway, you have been watching Shockmania. I'll catch you next time.